Today's masterclass is sponsored by BaByliss Pro. For more information on BaByliss, you can go to BaByLissPro.co.uk or you can click the links in our comments on Facebook or Zoom. But this morning we are joined by Katie Mulcahy, owner and director of Paint and Powder in Stafford. So welcome, Katie.
Hi, Eleanor. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to do some hair without wearing a mask. It's great.
It's great to have you, and we're really excited for your session this morning. Can you share with us what you're going to be doing?
Yeah, so I'm just going to be sharing a few ideas of kind of what I've been working on during lockdown. I'm a new salon owner, so I'm learning as well, and I've been really utilising the time to sort of progress in my own ability, my skills, but mostly, looking out on what trends are around. So, it's so fast paced right now. Things change so quickly. So I really wanted to spot up exactly where hair's going, like what's going to be what we're going to be working on when people are coming back through those doors on finally, hopefully, April the 12th. So I'm sure, I'm feeling super positive about opening back those doors to the clients. But I think it's really important that we sort of use this time to, grow and also look at what trends we're going to be seeing, because I think people are going to be really excited and up for a bit more of a change. So hopefully I can show you where I get my inspiration from, how I collate that information, and some ideas on how to get those looks into hair. And specifically, really, I'm working on 90s trends as well today.
Amazing stuff. And as you say, fingers crossed for the 12th of April. I know everyone's excited and everyone's clients will be really excited to get back into the salon. So can you share what you think some of the trends will be?
Yeah, so personally, I think after lockdown, you've got to put yourself in your client's perspective. Their roots are longer, they've gone through much more of a wait than what they initially would. So I think when they come back to the salon, they're not necessarily going to just want the same colour touching up again. From experience after the first lockdown, I found that my clients were more inclined to want a change. I think people will embrace more bolder colours especially, so I think people are going to be a bit braver, but the way I see things going at the moment is we're seeing girls that are quite young at the moment going back to sort of old school big blow dries, a lot more bouncy hair. We're always going to see this lived in sexy hair that's very commercial, very wearable, but girls are now wanting more sets again, round brush blow dries, really polished hair ups. We're seeing so much that sportswear is huge at the moment, but with that comes more glamour in hair and makeup. A real 90s revival has been around for a long time now, but the way I see it moving forward is, that's almost like 90s supermodel look where hair is super glamorous, but then quite playful as well. So I think our clients are going to be wanting us to show them different ways to wear their hair. You only have to look on TikTok, which is a whole new world for me at the minute, but I think it's so important that you get yourselves on there and see what everyone's doing, because everyone's really playing with their hair at the moment. So I'm definitely going to be encouraging my clients to opt for that change.
Absolutely. And as you say, TikTok, I guess, is one of the a new place to kind of look for trends and inspiration. Is there any other areas where you look for inspiration?
Yeah, so personally, I work a lot on Pinterest. I feel that that is the best way that I can collate that information. I think when you start kind of saving things that you like, obviously Pinterest automatically throws things that are related or similar back to you. So you can easily start to find, a kind of trends coming through. So I basically start with creating a mood board that just things that I kind of see that I like, and then it's quite apparent that these trends jump at you a little bit more and where they're coming from. So for me, this is a mood board that I worked on for today. So I will add this into the Facebook chat after, but basically pinning everything on really helps you to kind of get a little bit more clarity and to see things a lot more clearly. So what I've been working on for my salon and for my team when we open back up is having the mood boards accessible for the clients to see. So not only will we have that available to them for our colour services, so we break that down so it's really easy for them to see, because clients don't want to come in anymore and say oh, I'll have half a head of highlights. Those days are gone. That kind of rigid, computerized way of us just having the same again isn't going to fly anymore when people come back to see us. They want to see more descriptive choices, because colour is so many different things now. So we need to really sort of like inform them by making it a lot more interesting, so a visual kind of mood board for your services, whether that just be your trends for each season, or whether that be, you know, what's going on with highlights right now. How are you going to sort of take that to their hair? So we in the salon will have our mood boards on a Pinterest page, on an iPad, and we use it to sort of talk through consultations, encourage change, and they love it. It's a way of them thinking of things that they perhaps never thought they would and trying something different.
Absolutely, and it's great to have that as a visual aid in the salon, isn't it, to kind of like explain different colour trends or different styling. So definitely a good way to drum up the excitement in the consultation. So for everyone watching, we'll have you have the opportunity to send any questions for Katie as we go through the master.
Ask away, please. Yeah,
absolutely. Send them away, and I'll fire them across to Katie as we go. But Katie, I'll hand over to you for the styling.
So thank you. So this is my first model of today. So this is the lovely Harriet, which I'm going to call her, because my little boy's been calling her Harriet while she's been in my kitchen at home. So I've already pre-coloured Harriet's hair. So I'm a colourist at heart, so I'm super passionate about hair colour, and I would never create a style for anyone without sort of working on the colour at the same time. So you'll see when I dress the hair out that I've already kind of worked with a very like beigey, pinky gloss, and I've worked with quite a bold face frame around the front. We're going to be seeing that massively moving forward with colour. People again are going to get much more braver. So throughout the summer, you know, we're going to see real contrast with colour, and definitely sort of focal points around the face. So what I'm working on here today, so this is my 90s sort of supermodel. So I think Claudia Schiffer, Naomi Campbell, those glamorous girls in the 90s that were all over our magazines and that we all wanted to be. So again, we're going back to more old-fashioned techniques where we're setting the hair, using rollers, using tongs. So I have I've prepped this already. I'll just get rid of my stool. I've prepped this already because no one wants to see me tongue in for like an hour. But I've left a little section through the back area, so I hope you guys can see that okay. So I've used my BaByliss Professional Titanium 32mm curling tongue. I've got the temperature set to about 180. So obviously always be careful when you're working on the hair that you adapt the temperature to the condition of the hair, the texture of the hair. And that's what I love about them, is you can cater them to each individual. So I've worked on almost like a brick formation. So starting right from the front of the head, working my way back, everything in the direction is coming back, and it's rolled and sitting amongst itself on its base on the head. I've secured each section with one of these little clips. So the great thing about these clips is that they're flat. They don't leave any ridges on the hair. So obviously when the hair gets hot and you put a clip in, you don't want to leave any clamp marks. So that's great that they're super neat and flat. I'm taking about inch thick sections. And again, working in a brick formation so that we've got no kind of gaps or lines. I'm opening up my tongue, wrapping in and pulling the clamp down. I'm rolling around that root area so that that's giving me that lift that I need right at the root. And then tapping with my thumb and finger and winding that hair into the barrel of the tongue until the end is completely tucked under. And then just let the hair sit on there for a few seconds. Keep tapping the hair with your fingers, and that's all you need. And then just tap away. Hold the almost like the barrel curl in your hands, and then pinch with your fingers, and then secure in at the root. Okay, so I'm just going to work on in that exact same technique just for the rest of this hair, and then we're going to leave that to cool down, and I'll work on my other model in a little bit.
Amazing. I'm excited to see Harriet's look after this. Have you got any tips for creating the perfect consultation and getting the most out of it?
Yeah, so definitely allocate enough time. So here at Paint and Powder, we always
Amazing. And yeah, as you say, having images on your social media is a great way to show different techniques, different colours. So it's a great tip. We've got opportunities for questions coming in. So if you'd like any questions that you'd like to send to Katie, pop them in the chat. But what temperature have you got the tongs on there, Katie?
I've got them set to 180.
180.
Yeah, that's plenty on here. Like I say, like different hair texture, you know, if the hair was weaker, then obviously you'd always bring down your temperature, but if the hair, you know, is thicker and coarser, you can pop it up a little bit. So I'm just working on these last two sections. So it's really important when you're working in the salon and always really to make sure that you're working really neatly. So, you know, I think it's always, you know, good to sort of like have your sections and keep your workspace really neat and tidy at all times. Keeps everything looking really professional. And I think it makes your way of working really easy, and I work a lot quicker if everything's kind of really neat and making sure that you've got everything to hand.
Amazing. And how long would you recommend leaving the hair to cool? Is there a minimum time that you would allow for this sort of style?
I think obviously the longer that you leave the hair to cool, the kind of more staying power it's going to have. So I'd always, you know, in an ideal world, at least give it 15 minutes to cool down. But, you know, if you can kind of feel that it's cooled down to touch, then that would be enough, like when you're working in the salon. I mean, I've pre-prepped this sort of first thing this morning. So it's been in there for probably about an hour. So that should give me a real good sort of staying power. And I think it's nice for clients that come to us to see these kind of techniques, because, you know, hairdressers and clients themselves are curling their hair themselves all over. We can all see that clients nowadays are more knowledgeable than some of us sometimes. So it's really nice to do something that, you know, they don't do, and to really show your level of professionalism. And I think it will really show when they leave the salon how long the hair lasts and how well it wears. So I'm just going to take her head off like that. So you can see that I've just continued that prep, working in that brick formation. And I'm going to leave those sections to cool now, and I hope you can see some of that colour sort of showing through on the screen. Like, it's quite hard to sort of see the colour exactly in this light, but yeah, anyone who wants to know what colours I've used, then just shout, I can let you know.
Amazing. It's such a gorgeous colour. It's really pretty.
Thank you. So yeah, I'm just going to let her go and chill and cool for a little bit.
Harriet can go and chill.
So this is my second model. I haven't got a name for this one, so anyone who wants to name her, feel free.
Shout out your best names.
Shout out your best names. Maybe we'll call her Naomi, because we're going for 90s.
I like it.
So again, I've pre-cut and coloured here, so we've got a nice copper gloss over, just to kind of enhance loads and loads of shine on the hair. Obviously, this is a doll's head, so the condition of the hair isn't always fantastic. So by doing that, it's really helped me get a nice finish on the hair. So yeah, I've just gone through and done a nice classic bob, just slight graduation sort of through the bottom. And what I've really seen and what I'm definitely looking forward to doing is bobs will always be on trend. There's always a bob of the season. It's how you wear it and how you change it and mix it up, which will kind of make it look on trend or, you know, slightly different. So the way I see things going is, like I say, I think people are wearing things more classic, and we're going to see rounder shapes. So I think, you know, Jennifer Aniston, Friends, like, you know, everyone's going for more of this kind of blow dried result. So I've dried it just quite simple at the moment, just nice and straight. But what I wanted to show with my Prima irons is what I love about these is their plates are so wide and so long, and they heat all the way around. So they enable us to kind of create different textures and shapes really easily. So I'm going to demonstrate different ways of using them on one side of the head compared to the other. So when we think back to the 90s, you know, Kate Moss, super grungy at times, where it was almost that like cool girl wave, like how did she create that kind of like effortless look? And I think there's so many different ways now of curling your hair and waving them. So one of my favorite techniques to use at the moment is like the S wave, which is where we kind of tap the hair through the irons. And I think this is something that we're going to see a lot more of. So I'm going to demonstrate now that through this side of the head. And then on the other side, I'm going to go for a real sort of classic rounded bob. So really sort of using the irons to smooth the hair round. And because of the plates getting hot all the way through, they really do give a beautiful, seamless bend to the hair.
Amazing stuff. One person would like to know, I would love to know what colour is used on the first model, please. It looks stunning. Could you share what colour you used for the first one?
Yeah, so I use Schwarzkopf Professional in the salon. So the model was quite a brassy level 9, but just on its own as it came. So I, first of all, I did like a triangle section. I'll talk about it in a bit more detail when I dress it out, but I did a triangle section through the front of like the hairline, and I used Blonde Mckay, which is the most amazing pre-lightener for doing freehand work, because it is like a clay and it's beautiful for getting those face frames and, you know, working freehand. And so I basically just worked freehand on that triangle section all the way to the root to create more lightness at the front. And then the whole of the back section, I glossed with 9.549, which is a beige violet. So we're seeing a lot of these beigey tones in blondes especially. People aren't going to want to be super blonde anymore. They're kind of going to want these nude blondes, these slightly more muted blondes, bronzy tones. So by adding like a beige violet, it gives you like that slightly minky sort of tone. But I did add some 9.598, which is a pink in, so equal amounts of a beige violet with a pink. I hope that helps, and you'll see it a bit more after. So sorry, I'm losing my voice. So I'm just gonna sip some water.
Of course, go ahead. And if you've got any questions for Katie, do pop them in as we go. I'm really excited to see the first one in particular. I'm excited for all that volume.
Oh, no pressure. So can you guys see this section okay? Am I close enough?
Maybe we can turn the head slightly. That looks good.
Okay. So again, we want to work quite thick sections. And then when you're creating an S-bend, so I've got the temperature to 190. So when we're creating an S-bend, what we want to do is always work in the direction of away from the face. So whenever I'm kind of doing this around the hairline, I want to be bending the hair so it kind of kicks back away from the face. So what we're going to do is bend initially, and then as the hair works through the irons, you bend back in the other way. So you're almost like kinking the hair into an S shape, and you're tapping and following the hair down with the irons as it goes, working in quite thick sections, and then again, allowing the hair to cool before we comb it out. So I'm going to go in, feeding the hair through, creating that bend, holding onto the hair as you go. So you're almost like pinching the hair at the ends and pushing the hair in the direction that you want it to go. And it's just a light sort of tap, tap, tapping motion with your irons. until you get through to the ends. So can you see the S shape there?
And what sort of size, oh sorry Katie, what sort of size section would you use for the S-wave technique?
Again, that's about an inch thick section this way and sort of vertically and horizontally. But you can literally pick up like the whole, you don't even really need to section it sometimes. You could pick up the whole, if someone's got long hair, you can pick up the whole strand of hair. If someone wants that really sort of like, I haven't bothered, cool look that it doesn't really look like they've had their hair styled, the thicker the sections and the less of them, the more kind of natural it looks. But here I still want to kind of indent the hair enough. So I'm just working my way through this one side, and I'm probably just splitting the side sections into two different parts. So a front one and a back one. And then through the back section, I wouldn't even bother like doing the underneath. I would just work on the top section, because it is really just like a very like lived in wave that doesn't look done. So don't worry about having to do every section. It's a great one to use in the salon. And again, not, you know, a lot of hairdressers are doing it now, and it's a new technique that I love, but not a lot of clients have seen it. So it's something that, you know, you can do and they'll be like, oh wow, like that was cool, and they're learning something new.
Definitely. And if you have clients in the salon who want to kind of, I guess, try and improve their skills with the heated tools, have you got any tips that you would share with them?
Sorry, with the clients, Eleanor?
Yeah, with the clients.
So yeah, I'd encourage them to, like, I mean, I'm definitely 100% trying to work on, like I'm sure everyone is, on my Instagram, doing quick little videos of like how to do things with their hair, especially during lockdown, little ways of kind of creating new techniques. And I think that's how they learn, is like from little videos. So, you know, to point them in the right direction on your channel, or whether that's a YouTube channel, you know, I'm practicing really. It's all about practicing. A lot of clients, you know, they might give up after the first shot really, but they've got to keep at it. But it's about you kind of showing them simple little ways and simple things that are really effective, that will, you know, really encourage them to want to give it a go.
Absolutely. And it's a great way to kind of showcase the retail offering as well. If you have heated tools in your salon, it's a great way to showcase what you used.
Yeah, 100%. And like in the salon as well, like especially when we open after lockdown, we're hoping to offer, you know, like hair accessories and things like that. So hair accessories are a huge trend, especially with this like 90s trend. So it's about offering something that little bit different, and like, you know, if you kind of show them how you're going to style their hair, and then you throw like a cute little accessory in there after, not only, you know, they're going to want what you've used to recreate it at home. It's about making them fall in love with something that you've done. Absolutely. So on that section, so I'm mixing the kind of direction in the way I'm going on this side of the head. So obviously always around the hairline, away from the face, but internally we can mix it up a little bit. So, you know, some sections are going towards the face, if that makes sense.
And what are some of the common mistakes you see people making when they're curling their hair or using heated tools?
Leaving it on the hair too long. So we've all seen that dreadful YouTube video of that girl wanding her hair and it falling off. So yeah, that's something, you know, the temperature, making sure that they know what temperature to use on their hair for their hair. So it's really important that the tools that we use have got heat control where we can adapt the temperature to them. Overthinking it, like hugely, like, you know, they think they have to take a million sections. You know, it's about breaking it down and making it super simple. So again, this is my top section. So I'm pinching the hair with my fingers and I'm pushing it forward. So that's creating that S wave. And then I'm going in and you push back in the opposite direction. I hope you can see that.
Yep, I can see that. Beverly says, I'm a lecturer and call all of my doll head skirty.
What was that again? Say that again.
Beverly says, I'm a lecturer and I call all of my doll's head skirty.
Love that.
Very cool.
That is. I love that. So how's everyone feeling? I hope everyone's feeling super positive about this date that we've been given. I know that I sort of woke up today with a bit more of a spring in my step, like the sun was shining and we've got this date, and I've been inundated with people messaging about appointments, which is fantastic. So yeah, I hope everyone's feeling super positive and super inspired. I know I am at the minute. Can't wait to get back.
Absolutely. I think now we have a date, it's something to work to, isn't it? And there's some light on the horizon. Right.
So this is my last section. So keep tapping all the way through. And like you will find that the ends will be straighter, but that's kind of like the look that we're kind of going with. So I've worked all the way through that one side, creating that S bend shape, but obviously we all know that cooling down is really important. So we're going to leave that in place, not touching it. So always try not to touch the hair too much when you're working. Obviously it will cause it to kind of lose its shape a little bit. So we're going to let it sit in there a little minute. I'm going to use one of these clips that I love. They're super amazing. So again, they're super flat. So when you're kind of working on hair, obviously these doll's heads hairlines are a little bit awkward sometimes, but I'm just going to clip that there just to kind of keep the hair in place a little bit. And because of the flat space on there, again, it won't leave any marks or any dents or anything. But these clips are super cool. Girls as well are kind of using these as like fashion accessories. So they're all different colours and they're a bit glittery as well. So girls are wearing these as actual fashion accessories as well right now. So we're going to utilise these after. And I got these off Amazon. They're amazing.
Amazing. Yeah, we had a couple of questions on where those were from. So from Amazon. Amazon,
yeah. I mean, you can get them from hair supply places, but yeah, no, those ones are from Amazon. Okay, I'm just going to turn this head around.
Amazing. Lots of comments about people excited being back in the salon. Louisa says, very excited about getting back to college and be hairdressing again. All of our students are so excited to be going back. We're at Tresham College in Kettering and Corby. Yeah, I can imagine. So excited.
Oh my God, like those that have been training through this must be so like, yeah, like having that kind of big gap in your training, but like, aren't you so lucky that now we can do so much online? And I think that's what's super important. Sorry, I'm just grabbing a comb. That's what's super amazing about what you guys have been doing. This upskills thing's been great because you can kind of, you know, really sort of hone your skills during this lockdown, which is amazing.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to do it virtually, and yeah, hopefully this is something that we can continue doing in the future as well. Because yeah, it makes it really accessible and it's great to share the knowledge and learn from one another.
Absolutely. So I'm working on this side. We're going to look different on one side to the other. So this is going to be more of my sort of real 90s round, sort of tucked under bob, which we're going to see a lot of. So none, you know, some people are going to want to go grungy and wavy, but some people are going to want to go a bit more glam. So again, the great thing about these irons is that because they go hot all the way around, when we use them in like a rounded way, they really don't indent the hair at all or leave any kinks. They give a real seamless rolling effect. So I'm going to go in at the root and again, touching the cool tips with my fingers, really bending that hair around. And I want to really exaggerate the shape, like it'll look a bit too tucked under initially. But that's kind of what we want, because then when we brush it through, it's going to be perfect. Now, obviously, I'm not teaching people how to straighten hair. We all know how to straighten hair. But it's about, again, just encouraging things to be styled that little bit differently to, you know, excite the client. And you know, when they're going out, when June comes and we're all clubbing again, oh my God, can't wait. You know, they're going to be like, do you know what? Yeah, let's do it. No, put a cute little clip in my hair and let's just do it.
100%. Do you think people will be more experimental coming out of lockdown with the hair?
Will be so much more experimental. I think the way the 90s was super experimental anyway, you know, like, I mean, it's weird for me because I wore all these kind of things that are coming back into trend now, like the first time round. So for me, it's weird. I'm like, I can't believe these things are back in fashion, but I love it. I still love it just as much as I did then. So yeah, I think, you know, when someone gets to go out again, they're really going to want to dress up. Because don't get me wrong, the whole sport, so you can see how rounded and how, you know, seamless that kind of bend in the hair is. And again, we're not touching the hair, we're making sure that we're leaving it when it's hot. Don't be tempted to kind of pull your hands through it too quickly. So yeah, people are going to, you know, really go for it, I think. And yeah, just be like, oh, why not? Let's just, you know, let's go pink, let's go red. I think real bold colours are going to be huge again for summer, especially reds and bubblegum pinks.
That's great to hear as well, especially for the summer months as well. Lots of experimental clients will be coming in.
Yeah. So I'm really twisting that hair through.
We've had a couple of questions on, oh, sorry, Katie.
No.
On what products would you use to prep the hair?
Okay, so both models have been prepped with, I use Authentic Beauty Concept in the salon. I'm not a massive producty fan. Like, as a hairdresser, I like what I like, and I like the fundamentals. So I like hair to move and feel natural and free, but whenever I'm prepping any hair for any looks that I want some staying power to, I'd always use a mousse. So Amplify Mousse is great for not making the hair feel sticky, but really helping to give some guts to the hair. So they've all been prepped with that Amplify Mousse. I've blow dried it through with my Italia Brava hairdryer, which really helps to give a good old-fashioned blow dry. And that's currently all the products that they've had in. Amazing
stuff. And if you had to pick one heated tool from your kit, what would you pick?
Probably the 32mm tongs, the titanium expression ones, purely because I think it's the most common tool that I use. Like, I use it for beach waves, I use it for tonguing classically. It's the most adaptable tool probably, and it's my go-to one. I also love the deep wavers. I think Matt did a upskill session and he used the wavers.
Yeah, that looks really cool.
And it was so quick and it looked amazing, and it was literally really easy. So I thought that, I loved that. So yeah, I love them. And I think we'll be seeing that kind of like mermaid wave carry on as well. So I've worked through that section. So you can see the difference in shapes. So to help that, I'm just going to use again one of my clips to help sit the hair under.
Oh, we had a question. Oh, sorry. I feel like I keep interrupting you.
No, it's fine. I'm glad we're getting questions.
We've got plenty coming in. So Tracy would like to know, if your client had frizzy, wavy hair, would you blow dry first before working with the heated equipment?
Oh my God, always. Always. Even if they didn't, I mean, so you can see that's just going to stay there now, just to let it cool, okay? Always. If someone's got frizzy hair, you need heat and you need tension on the hair. So you definitely need to blow dry in some products, whether that's like a styling cream. I love shaping cream. Actually, I lied. Shaping cream has gone on Naomi, the short-haired model as well. So just because it gives it smoothness, it helps to give shine, but always, never, I hate it when I see hairdressers just letting the hair dry and then tonguing. I think it's lazy, and I think your clients, they can do that themselves, and they come and they pay for a service that the hair should never feel better when they leave. So always prep the hair with good products. Always make sure that whatever your end result, that you've blow dried it and smoothed the cuticle of the hair through, if that's the result that you're going with, and then go in with your tongue or heat appliance after.
Amazing. Thank you for your question, Tracy. Alex has said, I teach at South and City College, Birmingham, and the sessions like this have been absolutely brilliant. So thank you very much. Oh, thank you, Alex.
Oh, it's in my heart, Birmingham. I worked in Birmingham for years. So before I opened the salon here, because I'm from Stafford and the salon that I now have is in Stafford, but for years I worked in Birmingham and I miss it so much. I love Birmingham. Can't wait for a night out in Birmingham again with all my mates.
Amazing.
Guys, I'm just going through now. I'm just taking these little clips out. And you can see as you go that the hair will kind of have a bit of an old-fashioned sort of formation. But like I say, what that has done is it's given us the guts in the hair to be able to play with it and to work with it. We've all been there when we've tongued hair and you want this bounce and body, and you take it out and you brush it and it just goes and there's nothing more heartbreaking than that. So it's all in the prep. So it's making sure you've prepped the hair with the right products, i.e. your mousse, so your shape and curry, to give it the stainability and the hold. And you taking your time to put the right formation in there first, then it will enable you to brush and brush and brush and brush and brush, and it will still have some kind of shape to it.
You can see the amazing volume there already.
Yeah.
And do you think the money piece is going to be a big trend? That's something we're seeing a lot of.
Huge, 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 huge. Money piece, Alice band, as they say, like the thicker sort of one. Personally, like, we do a lot of just beautiful, wearable, natural hair, and that will always be there. But I think even with that, the focus is still delicately around the front, but certainly we are going to be seeing, the money piece, the Alice band, but potentially with, brighter colours on there. We're certainly going to be seeing much more contrast in colour. Not necessarily, I think tips are going to be coming back, where we've got, different colour on the ends, very more sort of like depths through the underneath. We've got celebrities like Dua Lipa, Anne-Marie, really sort of like owning the 90s trends. And it's always people like that that kind of lead the way with that. Okay, I think we're there. Just check that all of those out. Okay.
Amazing, it looks so bouncy.
I'm gonna give her a little shake. So I'm just gonna work my way through it now. And always when you're kind of brushing out any curls, I want to make sure that we're using a soft brush. So this is a soft Kent dressing brush. So I'm gonna work through brushing it out in sections rather than just going all the way through. Can you see okay here?
Yep, yeah. I can see that.
So don't be afraid to brush it. Like, you don't want to touch the hair lightly. So because you put that prep in, you can really, give it some good guts kind of brushing, really. Don't touch the hair too lightly, you can really go for it. Because the result that we're going to end with is just going to be like really girly, super sexy, quite cluelessy. There's awesome 90s movies where everyone's really girly and pretty. So we want to make sure that we've brushed everything out, all that prep that we've put in, that it's kind of brushed out from root to tip. So going on top of the hair, underneath.
You can really see as well, it's keeping in place, even though you're like brushing through, it's really staying in place, isn't it?
It's keeping in place, but the hair's like bouncing back as well, and that's what we want. We want the hair to kind of bounce back at us. And I think that's something that kind of comes with a bit of experience as well, like, not being afraid, to touch the hair and to brush it out. Have faith in knowing if you put the prep in there, that you can brush and brush and brush, and really work with the hair to create the kind of look that you want. So many times I think, you know, people would do the right kind of things, but then they'll just kind of do that, and it looks too separated or too Rapunzel-y, and you know, really sort of brushing the hair through with a soft brush will really make it completely different result.
Absolutely. And for anyone who might have just joined us, this session will be available to watch on YouTube, IGTV and Facebook afterwards. So if you want to tune in or rewatch any bits, it will be there for you. But amazing. So what's the next step in this look, Katie?
So once we've brushed through, we're going to be creating a deep side part. Deep side partings are going to be huge, especially for summer. So we're going to sort of work with the natural fall of the hair, but work on a deep side parting and kind of work on a very high pony. So ponies, again, huge for summer. But because we put all this prep work in, the shape that I really want to create is like a real bouncy, cute effect. So we're going to work on a half-up pony and then work with using our tongs to define the shape. So as well as seeing like deep side parts, I think that flicking out, kinked out ends as well as under is going to be huge. So I'm going to use my tongs just to kind of tweak the hair a little bit to kind of mold the shape a bit more.
Nice. And Jo would like to know, is there a specific technique in the way you're using the brush to brush out?
No, so just with good tension. So when you're holding the brush, always use your thumb on the back and use your hand to hold the head. And again, when I'm kind of working through on sections, because we've root tongued, so with a root tongue, it tongues from the root, so it ensures that you've got more volume at the root. So you want to make sure that you're brushing from that. So when you're working through your sections, you almost, sometimes I suppose, like I hold the hair with my fingers on the other side of the brush while at the same time working the hair through, so that you can kind of brush from root to tip, so that you're brushing out all that kind of set that you've done. And then once you've done that, then working through the ends. It's like it's a really important bit. So I know it takes a bit of time, but you've really got to make sure that it's brushed out.
Amazing, it's looking great. I can see a couple of people have just joined in, so you can catch up on this on Facebook, on our YouTube channel and IGTV. So all of our upskills videos will be there if you want to tune in and rewatch any sessions. So that's looking great, Katie.
Thanks. So it's hard, like I need to kind of use my mirror a little bit. Am I okay just to hold it here a minute?
Yeah, sure.
So I think that's a really important thing to say, is it's very easy as hairdressers just to get lost in what you're doing, but really look in the mirror and brush as you work. So my mirror is here. I know you guys can't see, but I've got a mirror here that I kind of can see the shape that I want to create. So obviously sometimes these dolls' heads, you know, the hairlines aren't as great as obviously real people, but you work with kind of like their natural fall and how their hair naturally wants to sit. So that's kind of like my supermodel, Claudia Schiffer, you know, just strutting around, ready for a shoot, or just come out, you know, from a magazine in the 90s. And that's how I think we're going to see plenty of girls like wanting to come into the salon and just have the hair blow dried and step tongue ready for a night out. And you can, you know, pop in a cute little accessory and then off they go. But what I want to show you quickly is how to kind of switch this up and change it into something a little bit different. So can you guys all see the colour as well there, the face frame that we've worked through? So it's really helping to kind of show the trend at its true potential by not only kind of dressing the hair in the right way, but by working with colour as well, really helps to nail the trend.
Amazing. Yeah, that colour is absolutely beautiful.
Okay, so what we're going to work on now is creating this deep side part. So again, we're going to be working with the natural fall of the hair. So I'm just going to turn it to me so I can see a little bit. So I'm going to go this way. So we're always going to work on an angle. So using a tail comb, we're going to go in at an angle. And find out where we want to go. Step back and always have a look at the shape. I'm just going to make it a little bit deeper.
What's a good way to judge where to put a deep side parting on a client?
Their face shape, really. So, you know, obviously everything's been quite central for a while, but a good place to go with is like the crook in the eyebrow, the arch, and kind of, you know, use that and use your tail comb to sort of as a guide. But really their hairline will kind of dictate to you where it's going to go. But it has to be far enough over to sort of make an impact. Like the side partings that we're seeing is quite slick and quite apparent. So quite a thick section. So what I'm going to do is, once I'm happy with the shape, so using the soft brush to pull it across, and it really, you know, it's going to sit against the face. So, you know, again, once you've got it, you know, step back and have a look. So that's the section I'm going to go with. So I'm going to use my flat clip to just isolate that from anywhere else while I work on the rest of the hair. Was that quite clear? Can you see?
Yeah, we can see there. So you've taken a section and it's going to go.
Yeah, so it's almost like a triangle shaped section. And I've found the formation and I've isolated it from everywhere else. And then that's going to come across to this side. Okay?
Amazing stuff.
Great. So now I'm going to work up at taking this section from the side and popping it on top of the head. Okay. Are we okay for time and everything, Eleanor?
Yeah, we've got about 13 minutes left of the session. Is that okay with you?
Oh my God, I took so long. Okay.
Amazing.
Right. So what we're going to do is aim with this at the top of the head. Okay. So using a tail comb or a brush with a pointed end, we're going to isolate this hair from the bottom. Okay. So you can see on the back here, and then the same on the other side. So it's going to sit right at the top. So obviously make sure that your shape is balanced and that it's even on both sides. I'm just going to use my mirror so I can see and check my balance. And when I'm working in the salon, like that's always what I'm looking at, is checking the balance, that it's right. Because you can look at something and work on something so much and then step away from it and be like, oh, it's really wonky. So using my soft brush to really get good tension. And you want this to sit right at the top of the head, okay? So I'm taking a bobble. Okay, and securing it right at the base. And you want to make sure that's nice and tight. Like we use hat elastic in the salon as well, where we can just tie it to any length that we need and it's seamless. But for quickness, I've just used a regular bubble. And then when that's in there, you want to give your ponytail a really good brush. And all that prep that we put in there will help to give it real cute bounce and movement. Okay. So I use this all the time in the salon, super 90s as well, but great for kind of creating a roll around your hairband to hide any, well, just to hide them basically. So you take your section from underneath your ponytail, wrap it around, pop that in, pop that through the loop, Can you guys see?
Yep, so you've popped it down through the bubble.
And just pull through. And what that does is just gives you a seamless pony base.
Really nice. I'm getting very Ariana Grande kind of vibes from this.
I love it. I know. I wish I had the hair for it. So you guys can see. So we're going to personalize that and pull it out a little bit once we've finished the shape. But now we're just going to work on creating our side part and getting that in place. So I'm going to use a pomade, which is like a gel cream, just to give the hair a little bit of a sheen around that front section. Using the palm of my hand. Because like I say, these side parts that we're going to see are going to be quite polished.
Absolutely. And if you have any final questions for Katie, we're coming towards the end, so please do send in your questions. But Debbie would like to know what makes the pomade, and also that she's really enjoyed this session.
Oh, that's made my day. If one person has learned something from today, then that's all I could ask. So the pomade, if that's how you say it, pomade, I don't know. Pomade. It's authentic beauty concept again. So I'm using a little hair accessory, again, 90s trend, again from Amazon. I stocked them up in the salon. Slotting that in at the side, okay? Making sure that all the hair is secure. Okay, I'm just gonna wipe my hands, make sure, because we just want that there. We don't want it on the rest of the hair. Okay, and then what we're going to use to finish is, we've all probably seen these products of dust. Can you see? So this is in like a spray, well, like a pump. So this will really help to give more volume to the hair. So it will also help to give more texture. So I'm just pumping that through, and then I'm just going to let the hair sort of shake out and pull the hair so that we don't see any marks or any lines, to kind of just give it a bit of a lived-in look, really.
Really nice. Louisa says, thank you so much. I can't wait to share this with my students and colleagues. Brilliant explanation of why we don't allow blast drying in the salon. As you were saying earlier, it's all about the putting in the prep, isn't it?
Yeah. So you can see that, like, you know, you can just imagine like her going out with a little clueless outfit on, with maybe like a little flip phone, and you know, this look could look really cool, whether that's in sportswear or whether she's going out and, you know, getting excited for those better times that are hopefully coming our way. But you can see with that prep that's put in there, the hair's got so much bounce and so much movement that it'll last all night. And just by adding little details of like little trends, like the side part and the hair accessory, just makes it look that little bit extra. And then I'm just going to quickly take these out. So because we've let this sit, once you've let the hair cool, we just comb through, and it will still be there, but it will just look that little bit more lived in. But you can see the two different looks that we can get with the same tool. I hope you really like it.
They both look brilliant, both Harriet and, was it Naomi we called her?
Naomi and Harriet. I want to go out on the town now with these girls.
Absolutely, they are ready to go, absolutely. Amazing, Katie. I think that's brought us to the end of today's session, but thank you so much for your demonstration. It's been brilliant.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me. And like I said, I really hope that people have learned something from it. I've really enjoyed this having a play with the hair. If there's anyone's got any questions after, then I'll feel free to share everything with anyone who wants any more info.
Amazing stuff. Thank you everyone for joining us, and do watch back on our YouTube, IGTV and Facebook channels if you want to rewatch anything. But for now, thank you so much.
Thank you guys.